Alright folks, so today I picked this up and I've had this in the garage for about 2 months. And there's reasons and stories for this. So this is an Alienware. It's the M17 flavor. It's got the Intel i7 4th gen. I think it has the GT 860. And it's old. Probably about, what, 10 years old I think this thing released back in 2014. Don't quote me 100%. But either way, it's a little bit old. But I wound up getting it for free, even though my intent was to pay for it. And it's kind of weird. I'm going to tell you the story about that in just a sec. So in today's video, we're going to open it up, take a look at it, see if it works, because I got it because it wasn't working, but I don't know. Let's see what's actually going on with it. So let's get started. So about 2 months ago, I was on the Clock app, you know, the TikTok, and I was watching this guy that I typically followed, and he had this laptop, and man, he was going off on this laptop. It kept on freezing on him. It wouldn't turn on. It was just doing a whole bunch of weird, wonky stuff. And the video was actually entertaining to watch, or the 67 clip was entertaining to watch, because he was just like cussing this thing, and he hated this thing. I really thought that, you know, he was going to get some duct tape, dig a hole, and just, you know, obliterate it. But anywho's, I sent him a message. I was like, hey, dude, I'll buy it from you. Maybe I could fix it. Maybe it's junk. I don't know. So he was like, yeah. So I went ahead and did the right thing and just sent a random stranger my address. And a week later, he got it to me. I offered to pay him like 80 bucks for it. I know it's probably a little overpriced for this. Well, at least in the not working condition. And he was like, oh, just send me shipping. I'll message you with the shipping information. Well, a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, and I hadn't touched it because, you know, I hadn't paid him, and if he was going to get all weird about it, I just wanted to send it back and get rid of it. But several weeks goes by, and no information on where to send payment or anything like that. Didn't pay him shipping or nothing like that. Got back on his TikTok, and, well, his channel is gone, deleted. Don't have his information. His email, he didn't respond to it. So I just let it sit for 2 months because abandoned property in my state is 30 days or more. I just, you know, we had an agreement, and I just didn't want it to come back and bite me in the butt, but at least I played it safe. So it's 2 months later. This thing's been sitting in the garage, and I'm curious on what is wrong with it. Now, this thing is heavy. I mean, I don't know how this is considered a laptop. If anything, maybe like a portable computer. It is heavy, folks. But it's got a lot of cool I/O. I love the slot DVD drive. That is just flipping cool. Memory card flavor stuff over here. USB, Ethernet. What do we got on this side? Audio stuff. Yeah, just a bunch of cool little stuff on it. And these things are just really, really cool. You got the alien head, you know, that's nice. And it's got like a badge over here. Look at that, Alienware 17. I mean, this is just cool stuff. Cool stuff. I like stuff like that. And for most people, like, this is complete junk, but there are cult followings for this stuff like this. I had some Alienware stuff in my older videos and even the older Steam stuff. And I found that the Alienware stuff sold for a premium. I had one that was, can't remember what it was, but it was the portable, you know, Alienware, you know, like that and that. Yeah, I'll just have to post a link to the video. But long story short, I got it like dirt cheap, and it sold for like 400 bucks. That was pretty cool. So maybe we'll be able to do that. My intent with this is not to keep it. To me, this has no value, but to some people who just love this type of stuff, like I said, the cult following, they'll pay for it. And people willing to pay for it, I'm willing to sell it. So let's see. Now, I have done a little work to it off camera. Let's get some lights on. It's a little dark. There we go. In the sense that I had to clean it. It had the whole smoker action. So it sat in the garage, cleaned it, just kind of let it air out, got rid of the yellow nicotine film. Even this over here was just, whoo, gross and sticky. So we're back in action. So that's pretty cool. For the most part, I mean, this thing is in pretty fantastic condition. He does have this aftermarket power brick for it that he sent with it. Checking the voltages and all the electro-digital stuff on it. This appears to be the one that would work with it. So that's pretty cool. But let's go ahead. Let's fire it up. No pun intended. Hopefully this thing doesn't catch fire. Maybe he gave it to me because it was stolen. Maybe he forgot about it. Maybe he just got in trouble. I don't know. But either way, I mean, we have it now. And let's see what we can do. Now, I did go ahead and put a solid state drive. This did not come with a drive. I've opened it up a little bit, haven't tinkered with it too much. So I went ahead, I popped in a solid state drive. It's preloaded with a copy of Windows 10. It's actually the same flavor that I used for another Alienware that had similar specs. It still had the Intel 4th gen. I think that one had like a 970 or 960, whatever it was. Or maybe a 7 series. Can't remember. But anyways, let's see if this thing turns on. I hear noise. Whoa. That's more than I expected. I just popped in the drive and just kind of hoping for the best. Oh man, Windows updates. Gotta love it. So let's let this finish doing its updates. Let me do some stress tests on it, get this thing prepared, updates, all that good stuff. And when we come back, let's see what's wrong with it. So it's actually like 2 hours later and we're back up and running. And I had to take this thing inside because, well, I guess it's yard day, pressure washing day, garbage cleanup day. It's everything that will create noises while working inside my garage. So while inside, I was installing updates and everything, and this thing was ramping up like 100 miles per hour. Fans just full beans and everything. And they're already starting as we're sitting here. And I ran hardware monitor and everything is going at 86 degrees Celsius, which is pretty warm just downloading a game, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'll post this clip. As you heard, pretty loud, and we're doing nothing. I haven't benchmarked, tested anything, because 86 degrees Celsius just downloading a game pretty much doesn't give me confidence that this thing is going to hold up gaming or doing anything. It might just explode and melt itself into the nuclear oblivion. So I think what we're going to need to do is open this thing up, put fresh thermal paste, because to me, if the fans are running and it's getting that warm, as old as this thing is, it could just be some dried up thermal paste. And if anybody's asking about that Windows activation code and you're trying to zoom in, it doesn't work. Alright, so from what I recall, and I think I worked on one similar to this, and I've also looked at a couple of videos. It's like 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's pop these guys out. Slides towards me, just like that. And we have our prize. So now this one does have 16 gigs of DDR3 memory, which is nice. The 256 that I did put in here, and typically they did come with a 1 terabyte. This is the battery. The battery is pretty much junk for the most part. Doesn't even hold a charge. And I think it's a little swole. You know, not from lifting weights, just from years and years of just, you know, years. Let's see if we can just slide this thing up and out. And when you're working on a laptop, it is safe and best practice to just disconnect the battery. Now, I want to dive into this. I'm hoping if I take off all these screws, it will give me access to the CPU die, which it looks like it. So we got numbers. Good thing I was good in math in school. 157321. Yep, that sounds right. Okay, just pop this out nice and easy. There we go. Now, can we slide this? Can we? Oh, sweet. And as you can see, we pretty much have like no thermal paste on this. I mean, there's nothing in the middle. What in the world? See if I can zoom you in. Yeah, there's like nothing there. So that explains why it's getting toasty, because all the thermal paste is over here and nothing in the middle. And if you're asking about the fan noise in the background, not sure if you hear it, that's my mini computer over there. So this thing is not on. I don't think it's on. I mean, thermal paste is not dried up, but there's just nothing in the middle. That just makes no sense. Now the cool feature is replaceable CPU, so we could upgrade it to the latest and greatest and have the best technology. Nope, definitely not. Definitely not. that was easy to clean because there's nothing there. We got to do the same thing for the graphics card. So let's go ahead and just get this fan out. Alright, can we pull this nice and easy without breaking it? Please. Okay, we're good. Besides a bunch of animal hair, not terrible in here. Alright, we got a bunch of numbers again. Let's get that out. And can we delete on this without having to take everything apart? Oh, there we go. There we go. I mean, at least this one had something. I mean, it's better than that. I don't know what our graphics card temperatures were because I didn't even bother to bench test it or do anything with it because how hot the CPU was getting. So yeah, it's actually nice how easy this is to work on. There are some laptops now that you just have to like take everything apart and it takes forever, and yeah, but this is pretty easy. I like that. Let's get this stuff off. All right, looks good. Everything's nice and clean. So what I'm going to do off camera is pop in fresh thermal paste, spread it nice and appropriately, put this thing back together, and let's see if our temperatures go down. So we'll be back. All right, folks, running the same test and everything that we were doing before. Well, not really a test, but doing the same thing before. So before downloading anything from Steam, this thing would spike up to 86 degrees Celsius. One time I saw it at like 90, and then just idle and even just doing any task, it would just sit around the 80s. We're at 60, let's just say 60 degrees, 57, and the max that it has spiked up to is 64. So before we were sitting at 80, just average, and then 88 is what it spiked up to. So 60 to 64, geez, folks, we're looking like a 20 to 30 degree difference. I mean, I guess thermal paste is that important. That is fantastic. And the other thing too is the fans are silent. This is pretty exciting. And it was easy to do, which is a win. All right, let's throw some games on here and let's see what we can do. We got the sad face. And it's usually never a good sign when the fans are ramping up at 100%. Usually kind of a, red flag. So your device ran into a problem, needs to restart. You can restart. Well, I've been trying to restart, it won't let me restart. Driver power state failure. I've seen that, and that is not a good sign. So let's shut this joker off. Oh, so much quieter. And kind of discuss what's going on. So I've seen that before, and I also have other symptoms. So I've been tinkering with this for maybe about 30 minutes, and every time we go to install the driver, it won't install the driver. That's problem number one. And when I did manage to get a driver install, it crashes. It crashes in games. So what does that tell me? I think the GPU is bad on this. Bummer. Tinkered around more off camera. And yeah, we're batting zero, folks. So as you can see, the fan is ramping up, and it's actually the GPU side. So this one's the GPU, this is the CPU. CPU is actually staying really quiet. I mean, the temperatures are about 70s, not too terrible about it. But the GPU one is ramping 100%, and we're not even using it. So that is a bad sign. So I went back, took a look at the footage, and there was actually green crusties on this heatsink. So I think some spill action happened on this. I'd have to open this up, take it apart, and take a look at it, but I really think that's what's going on with this. Green crusties is typical for water damage, and maybe that's why this guy decided to ghost me and block me. He felt bad. But then again, why would he feel bad? Because I knew it was broken. I knew it wasn't working. And it's not like I gave him money for it. So it's kind of weird. As far as this Alienware, I think because of the water damage, it is done. It is toasted. Not much we can do with it. But that's okay. There's still a little happy ending for it. So I threw out a bunch of feelers to people I know that are into this type of stuff, and somebody offered me $100 for it. I fully disclosed that, hey, I think the GPU is bad and toast on it. I think he said something to the effect that you could change the graphics card on this. It's actually a slot or whatever you call those, and you can swap that out. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to it. I don't know a lot about this. I haven't done a lot of research. My intent was just kind of just to fix it and move it on and try to gain the most dollar I have. Apparently this guy has a bunch of this type of stuff. He collects this Alienware stuff. So for $100, if he wants it, he can have it. That is good for me. It is still a win. And on the plus side, I still get to keep my SSD. He said, don't worry about the SSD or anything like that. So that is good. I can use that 256 for whatever project I come up with next. But this Alienware, unfortunately, could I save it? Yes, but it would cost me more money than what it's worth. But for somebody else, cheap and easy. So this thing is it's a tank. It is heavy. It is bulky, and if I'm being honest with you, as much as these things cost upwards of $3,000 depending on the spec or anything, it's not worth, in my opinion. For a laptop, I want to be able to sit with it on my lap, get a couple of hours of battery life, maybe play a game or two, mostly browse the interweb. But I mean, I think the battery for this was like an hour and a half, 2. That's pretty bad. The weight of this thing, and then the amount of heat it generates, I mean, is it really a laptop? If anything, I just kind of consider it a portable desktop. But hey, to each their own. It wouldn't work for me. It would work for somebody else. I like laptops, but this is not practical. So comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, concerns, criticisms. Why do you think that guy just ghosted me like that? Would you spend the money and fix this? Or did I make the right decision and just moving it on to somebody else who could just fix it free or anything? And am I losing dollars? Does this thing cost more to the cult community for this? And I'm just not aware of it. If you like this video, definitely hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not. And as always, let's see what we come up with next.